Welcome to another episode of Single Site Scammers, and today we have ALYSSA. And as you can tell, the photo is rather model-like, and that's another red flag right there. When you have these perfectly done photos, odds are they're a scammer. Be very careful. 95-98% of the time it will be a scammer. So anyway, we'll see what ALYSSA has to say. We'll take a quick look at another one of her photos. One of the things you can do is look in the backgrounds of the images, and that can give you a clue. This particular one, unfortunately, looks like a hotel or office building. I can't tell what the language is on this little sign here, although it does have a standard exit sign up in the corner here, so probably in an English speaking area, but who knows. Again, this is probably a model photo. Probably if you do a reverse image search, what's going to happen is it's going to bring up this brand of shirt here that she's wearing. So odds are it's going to be a modeling shot for that product, is what the photo is. So it's stolen from somewhere. Now, so anyway, like I said, a match with ALYSSA. She's looking for a long-term partner. So the first thing I asked was, hello, and so how long have you lived in Texas? And again, I asked this simply to see whether they're visiting or what is happening. And in this case, she's in Texas, so if she gets a Texas reply, she'll say she's in Texas, but she's away for business or something like that. In this case, she is going to say this. Okay, she first says, well, hi, nice to hear from you today. How are you doing today? This scammer is a little bit more on the ball. They also answered my question. I'm on a business trip in Texas for a week. So this is basically to say, well, to figure out where I am and to try to say they're going to be in close proximity of me at a later date. So anyway, I say I'm doing okay. I forgot the am. I had a typo there. But anyway, so we'll go on. So I see, so where are you from? I was born in San Francisco and moved back to Melbourne, Australia, with my mother when I was 2 years old to grow up. Not the best English, considering she's from Australia. I returned to the United States 2 years ago to develop my career. Seeing your profile from Manitoba, Canada. Again, her English is not very good for being from Australia, is it? Anyway, so I say, so what do you do for a living? And I say, yes, I'm in Canada. Anyway, she says she's in the clothing business. I don't know why, but scammers tend to gravitate to the clothing business, to saying they're from the fashion industry or clothing business or a designer, clothing designer or something like that. I don't know why, but a high number of them tend to gravitate towards that. It could be the scripts they're reading from, etc., etc. So she says, what about you? Well, I'm an antique dealer. Anyway, she also says, I am also planning to come to Canada on a business trip next month to visit my business partners. When we get to know each other better, we can have coffee together. Well, Canada's a pretty big place. Pretty big country. Not knowing, where is a key. So, anyway, she says that, okay, and I ask, where are you planning to be? And then she says, seeing your profile is also looking for a relationship. They're reading off of a script, so they're trying to get those questions and statements in there. I say, yes, I'm looking for a relationship. Anyway, she says, I plan to come from Ontario. And then she says, I'm also looking for a genuine friendship to see what happens. I don't mind a more intimate relationship either. Well, okay. Anyway, so I ask, where in Ontario? I just want to see what she's thinking or where she figures that I am. Really. She says Dryden, Ontario. So Dryden is quite a ways from here. So anyway, if you don't mind, please leave your WhatsApp so we can keep in touch better, have a coffee together and see what happens between us. Again, they always want you to go to WhatsApp or off the platform to another platform somehow. And this is to keep you off the platform so that you're less safe and more vulnerable. So don't do that until you know them much, much better. Stay on the platform. Now, if I told her, or it, or whatever, the scammer, probably, like I said, a guy in Nigeria or Saudi Arabia or somewhere like that, if I told them that I want to stay here, they would maybe agree, but then ghost me in the end because they don't want to deal with that amount of time. They don't want to put in the time and effort to try to get you off the app, and just will abandon the whole conversation. Anyway, and I do just that. I say I prefer to chat here for a while. And then she says, okay, I don't use this app very often either. And that's a lie, because I'm sure as a scammer, they're on here quite constantly. So what I say, I'm just throwing in the towel here at this point. I know they're a scammer. I've known they're a scammer from the beginning. So I say, I think the opposite is probably true. I suspect you spend many hours a day on this app. And then I say, so are you in Nigeria, India, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, or? And at that point, she blocked me. Surprise, surprise. Scammer, scammer, scammer. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. Please be sure to like and subscribe. And don't get scammed.